tissue. I'm Iris, and my older son, Isaiah. I do have a younger son, Anthony Miles. He's in school. He's not quite old enough to do the construction, but he'll be 16 on Monday, so he'll be able to do the next one. So we are really, really excited to be here. And my Habitat journey, the first time I ever heard of Habitat, I was living in the city working in Chicago Public Schools, and my aunt, who lives out here for quite some time, she just handed me a flyer, and she's like, you should look into this. It seems, pretty cool. But it said DuPage Habitat. And I'm like, oh, I'm living in Cook County. So I was like, man, that would be nice. Just let me look into it. I actually called, and they told me about an information session. I couldn't make it, but that was maybe 2014, 15. But 2018, the turn of events, we moved out to this area to be closer to our church, to be closer to home, to be closer to better schools for my kids. The city was challenging for us, and it was hard. It was really hard. And just as you said, the lack of support, being a single mom and trying to take care of teenage boys. I do have an older daughter and a granddaughter. They're still in the city. We're praying that they are out here soon as well. But it was very difficult to get the help, to get support, to get resources. I can't imagine how someone, I just had my two sons. I can't imagine moms who had more kids that were really, struggling. And we lived in a neighborhood, when we did get affordable housing, we were in a neighborhood where there was gang violence. I went from apartment to apartment. When I lost my home to flooding, we were homeless for a spell. They had no clue because we were able to get FEMA funds, and we were in a hotel. And they were like, oh yeah, hotel, I'm here for breakfast every morning. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is not the life. So that journey just led us to be able to get more support from family. Our church family and our biological family and friends has been a very good journey to be able to build the relationships that we have. So around 2018, I took a very strong faith walk. My children we weren't in a good place. Where we lived was dangerous. I couldn't let my kids go outside. I wouldn't let them ride public transportation. They couldn't go to their friend's house. There was no such thing as, I'm gonna ride my bike. No such thing. So we decided to just pack up and leave. I packed my things and left Chicago. Wasn't sure what was gonna happen, wasn't sure how it was gonna happen, but I knew the Lord would provide. So we took that journey, and sure enough, He gave us a nice apartment that was good for us at a time, which we've been there now for 4 years. Even that area has started to depreciate, so to speak. It's very hard, it's not well kept, it's not safe at night. I've gotta just say a prayer from the parking lot to my door. Like, this is not the way to live. And in that process, I was introduced to the Family Self-Sufficiency Program. Got enrolled there because I was unemployed once I left the city. And from there, the resources just started opening up. I started taking classes. Everything they offered, I checked out. Whether I needed it or not, because I could still share it with someone else. Sometimes we get information that's not always just for us. It's to be able to share. And as a community, I wanted to do that. I got the support there to be able to get back on my feet, was able to clean up my credit. Who'd have thought that in a year's time, or a little over a year, my credit score increased 200 points just by following those little steps that Home DuPage gave us all those financial classes, and it was so awesome. That team was great. And from there, they introduced me to Habitat for Humanity because my financial counselor says, you know what, you are on track to buy a home and you really should look into this. So I did the information session, and it was so exciting. I'm like, what? Can I really do this? And it happened. And because of everyone that just pours into, they say we just have to do the work. You can't be afraid to ask for help. You can't be afraid to ask questions. You can't be afraid to share our story, just because you never know, someone may understand where you're coming from and say, well, here, this may work for you, or this may be a good fit for you. So I just encourage people to continue to talk, to continue to spread the word, talk about the things that happen, because if we don't say anything, we won't know. And the Lord says you have not if you ask not. So I'm like, hey, I don't know. So I wanted to be able to provide a space for my kids. This 6'5", 200-pound young man of excellence, I call him Moles, M-O-E, and his brother have been sharing a room since birth. So now, thanks to Habitat, they get their own room. I get my own space. I can close my door and not hear what's going on with the teenage boys. They can rage and vent with video games and have friends over, you know, those types of things. I can entertain family, and I'm just so grateful for the opportunity. This is a lifelong partnership, and I will never, ever forget God's blessing and the resources. It was not easy, but it was so worth it, and I'm grateful for all of you.
Look, I need a tissue.
Oh my goodness, Judy's gonna kill me because
Oh, whoops, I forgot to record it.
she did. She wanted to be here. Judy Belinsky has been, when they partner you with someone, I cannot, she is an angel. I mean, she checks in with me, she gives me reminders, she prays for me. When I get frustrated, I'm just trying to share and ask questions, and she's not afraid to say she doesn't know. She's like, I'll call Jill. She's been supportive. She even helps me just as a mom of teenage boys because she has twins, and I'm like, why do they do that? You know, she's been able to help me with that. So it's just not just partner with me in the house. Like, it's like life partner. Like, I cannot imagine. God knew what he was doing when he gave me Judy. And I know she wanted to be here, and I told her, I was like, no, you're gonna have to come over for family dinner. So we have family dinners. And I was like, Jill, you're not too far away either. So we're just building those friendships. And my church family, my Habitat family, my kids are at Wheaton Academy, that family, and even my younger son, he went to Wheaton Christian Grammar School, that family. Everywhere we go, we have built lifelong partnerships, and the community is really strong. And I just hope that other moms or dads, there's single dads out there, or even married families, they understand the connection of community. We weren't built to do life alone, and we're not supposed to. We have to connect and be able to make that bond. You know, that 3 chord is so much stronger. You know, we can't do this by ourselves. So I thank my Heavenly Father, thank all of you. And I won't keep rambling.